how incompetent some of these people that work in government are. The crypto economy. So is it a gamble? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Is it a casino? That is also used in illicit activity, including our extremely excited, very excited. What's going on, guys? So the big news, of course, is that 11 spot Bitcoin ETF applications have been approved, which is huge. But was it a buy the rumor and sell the news? Because the price of Bitcoin has actually not gone that much higher. Since the approval, it barely climbed just a few percentage points. Nonetheless, this is absolutely transformative in the sense that it is going mainstream after 11 years of the very first ETF application. So it's totally gone mainstream. And there's a couple of little funny things that I'll point out, of course. So whether you love or hate Bitcoin, well, this is coming. This is totally coming. So is it a gamble? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Is it a casino? Either way, the house always wins. The peons, it's not about us. Everything cool gets absorbed into the system. So even if people hate Bitcoin, well, since it's gone mainstream, it could find its way into 401k plans, IRAs, and pension plans. Totally 100% mainstream portfolios. So that, of course, is very interesting. Here's the list of 11 approved spot Bitcoin ETFs. They are, I'm sure, extremely excited to get started tomorrow. Honestly, I really thought the price of Bitcoin would explode upon approval. So that's a little disappointing. It basically topped out at around 47.6. So really thought it would go way, way higher. Nonetheless, many see this as a watershed moment, a landmark occasion, of course, a financial opportunity, because many institutional investors can pour money in, driving significant inflows, and of course, pushing that price of BTC way, way higher. So all of this means that now people can use traditional exchanges, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, and not crypto exchanges, which cost an arm and a leg in those stupid fees. Now, funny enough, as you can see from the list here of the approved ETFs, the crypto custodian as an institutional custodian being used, 8 out of 11 is Coinbase, which is really funny because they're still being sued by the SEC. It's like these people play so many games, so many money games. Now, funny enough, someone on X pointed out that the commission on their approval order for the ETFs, they concluded that fraud or price manipulations that impact prices in spot Bitcoin markets would also similarly impact Bitcoin futures prices, meaning that the SEC will be surveilling for fraudulent and manipulative acts and practices in the context of the ETF proposal. Well, needless to say that many of these firms are extremely excited, very excited, with Coinbase being the largest crypto exchange in the United States, with 75% of the market or higher, calling it an exciting watershed moment for the expansion of the crypto ecosystem, the crypto economy. No surprise there, of course, because they stand to make a lot of money, where they say that the ETFs by some of the world's largest asset managers will unlock diversified pools of money, new investors to spur long-term growth, and even product innovation. Check out some of these ETF fees. Zero. Well, unsurprisingly, El Señor Gary Gensler released his own statement regarding the approvals. For example, just in the second paragraph, he says, "I have often said that the commission acts within the law and how the courts interpret the law." The SEC was literally caught lying by a judge, a federal judge. They had to apologize for the lies. Basically entrapment. They were lying against a crypto firm so they can get their asset forfeiture applications approved. Not very nice. So his statement is pretty basic. It goes over some of the history, the length of time it has taken to approve all of these ETFs, saying that today's actions will bring protection for investors, that the sponsors of the ETF will be required to provide full, fair, and truthful disclosures about their products, that the products will be traded and listed on registered national securities exchanges, saying that these regulated exchanges is very good for investors because they have rules in place designed to prevent fraud and price manipulation, and that the SEC will fully investigate any fraud or price manipulation, including those that take place on social media. That's pretty interesting. And that these exchanges have certain rules in place designated to fight conflict of interests. I highly doubt that will happen because there's conflict of interest everywhere you look. Anyways, his last two paragraphs are kind of funny, saying that they are neutral and that he notes that the underlying assets surrounding metal ETFs have consumer and industrial uses, that in contrast, Bitcoin is mainly speculative, a volatile asset that is also used in illicit activity, including ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, and even terrorist financing. As if cash or any other world currency, even fine art, real estate, as if they're not used for any of that stuff. I don't know. And his last paragraph is pretty funny. He says, while we approved the listing and trading of certain spot Bitcoin ETFs, today we do not approve or endorse Bitcoin. That investors should remain very cautious about the myriad of risks associated with Bitcoin and crypto in general. It is still so funny that he never ever looked at FTX crypto exchange, his good old buddy Sam Bankman-Fried, and of course, the beautiful Caroline Ellison, her parents working at MIT where he was teaching. And BlackRock also previously filed an Ethereum ETF application, which of course now that Bitcoin ETFs have been approved, well, Ethereum is also rallying. People are jumping in hoping to make a few bucks. But not all of these bankers and asset managers really care about Bitcoin. They just care about making money. For example, JP Morgan was named as a participant with the BlackRock ETF application. And despite this, the JP Morgan CEO, Jamie Dimon, he said that the actual case use for Bitcoin, trafficking, tax avoidance, money laundering, and terrorist financing, that he still thinks that Bitcoin has zero value, but enough value for him to be a participant with BlackRock as part of the ETF. Now, it's very ironic that JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said this, because JP Morgan had an account for a giant creep, a famous creep that committed major crimes in US dollars, and they never closed his account. In fact, JP Morgan got sued and settled. I think in the end, terrorists prefer the US dollar. That's most likely what's in their wallet. And in another demonstration of how incompetent some of these people are, how incompetent some of these people that work in government are, that the official SEC Government X profile was hacked, supposedly hacked, that it wasn't actually because of the systems put in place by X, that it was in fact because someone had obtained control over the phone number associated with the SEC official account, where the X safety team went as far as saying that the Securities Exchange Commission official X profile did not have the two-factor authorization security measure enabled, which is extremely funny because the news is spinning it that it's actually X's fault. It's all Elon's fault. Just check out this headline from Bloomberg saying that the SEC account was hacked on X. None of that happened. Where they say that the breach underscores reliability concerns, of course, about X, because they just hate Elon and of course his stance on the whole X stuff. But whatever, apparently the SEC got the FBI involved. They'll find some clown, some Joe Schmo to put the whole blame on. Now, in the midst of all this happening, the US national debt actually surpassed $34 trillion. This happened on December the 29th, just before New Year's. So clearly the US dollar just can't be printed and printed and printed because they just keep adding to it. Over $1 trillion needed per year just to pay the interest on the national debt, which is insane. And now they have to keep printing trillions and trillions more just to keep things afloat. And let's not forget all those crazy wars that are happening. So maybe the powers that be just can't keep printing money left and right. They have to extract wealth from somewhere. And the crypto Bitcoin game, which is global, is perfect. Makes sense to me. 11 approved ETFs will start trading tomorrow, Thursday. So they're not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They're getting started ASAP because they want to make the money. So this whole thing is extremely interesting, and I wonder where things will be at the end of the year. Double, triple, maybe. 2x, 3x? We'll see. All right, guys, well, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for spending time with me. Always a pleasure. Please don't forget to smash the like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.
SE Seasons greetings. Okay. You may have some New Year's resolutions for 2024. Certainly, many of us do. Hobbies to try, places to see, rom-coms to binge. Here at the SEC, we have 3 New Year's resolutions. First, to protect investors. Second, facilitate capital formation. And third, maintain fair, orderly, and efficient markets. In 2024, as always, we're going to carry out these 3 parts of our mission, looking out for investors like you and people raising money called issuers. That means working as a cop on the beat, stamping out misconduct, and ensuring that markets are fair. It means preventing fraud, manipulation, and abuse, and this all lowers risk in the system, but it also protects investors and reduces the cost of capital.